Good evening, everyone. I am Danny Nicole, and I am the host of Book Talk, Author Visibility Podcast. And on tonight's episode, we will be speaking with Lisa Sparrow, and she is going to tell us a little bit about herself, where she's from, and the book she will talk about today. So, Lisa, take it away.
Hi, my name is Lisa White Sparrow, and I am born and raised in Columbus, Ohio. And the book that we are here to talk about tonight is Blindsided and Ambushed. It tells about an 18-month journey that I went on after a childhood friend tried to kill me. And in the midst of it all, I still had a child to raise. So, yeah.
Okay, so let's just jump right in. So, what gave you the courage to tell your story? Because that's courageous. So, give me a little background on that.
I don't know if it was courage so much as I was going through this, it, like I said, it was a childhood friend who tried to kill me. She poisoned me. I literally woke up handicapped. And as I'm going through all of this, my support system, my friend group, they were like, if we weren't going through this with you, we would swear up and down this was a Lifetime movie, because that's how it felt. That's what it seemed like. And so because I had already written my first book, everybody was like, you have to write a book about this. You have to write a book about this. And I'm like, okay, well, while you're in the midst of something, the last thing on your mind is writing a book. So after that 18 months was over, I'm gonna just give a little tidbit. After that was over, well, not really after it was over. This happened in 2011, 4 days after my 41st birthday. And then, which is in February. And then in September, I found out I had cancer. So after my first cancer surgery, I'm healing. And then I had to have another cancer surgery. So as I was healing from that, you have nothing to do, but you have nothing but time on your hands when you're healing and going through a lot of things. And so I was sitting in my recliner. All I could do was hold my phone. And I literally wrote Blindsided and Ambushed in my email. Literally. So, I was on some heavy duty pain meds, and I would write it and fall asleep. Wake up, keep writing some more. Go back to sleep. So I literally wrote it in my email, and it was very cathartic for me on what I can remember. So what I remember and what other friends remember was not necessarily the same thing. There were pockets I didn't know about. So when I was talking to my friends and writing Blindsided, then they were able to fill some details in for me. But all I had was mustard seed faith.
Okay. Okay.
All I had.
Yes. And so looking back on those 18 months, what was the greatest challenge you had to overcome if you're looking back at that time?
I had to still parent, and I had a stroke, and I was paralyzed on my right side, and I'm right-handed. So I still had to parent while I'm going to rehab, learning how to do things you take for granted at 41. You know how to brush your teeth. You know how to button buttons. You know how to write. I had to learn all of that all over again while raising my child. He was 12, so thankfully he was self-sufficient to a degree, but then I realized I couldn't cook. How am I going to feed us? We had a lot of scrambled eggs and hamburger helper during that time because that's what he could make. So that was the hardest part for me, was trying to parent while I'm going through rehab and relearning the very things that you learn when you're little.
Yes. And so you credit your faith for helping you through that season of your life. So what role did faith play?
The biggest. It was the biggest thing, because you don't expect to go to bed and literally wake up handicapped. I had a stroke in my sleep because I was poisoned. And I don't know how I'm gonna raise this little boy. I got these beautiful brown eyes looking at me, and I had a full-time job at a major bank, and I couldn't work. I didn't know what we were going to do. I had no idea how I was going to take care of him. So my entire life fell apart, and lost my job, lost my home. Me and my brother happened in January to say my son was going to stay with him for the summer. So that was a blessing that my son could stay with him for the summer. But I had no idea what was going to happen. I just knew that I had to get my life back for this child. So it was a struggle. Like, I don't know why this happened, but it happened for a reason. And that's the thing about it, is we don't always know why things happen, but I didn't have time to worry about the how, because I had this little boy that I had to figure out, what am I going to do with.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. So, what fears have you faced when it comes to sharing this writing publicly? Because you are sharing this intimate, this vulnerable side of you.
Not really. I would have to say, if anything, is that she'll come back, because we were childhood friends. We're from the same city. So, we grew up together.
Okay. And was it hard writing the story, or was it harder allowing yourself to be seen? Because you're writing it, but then now you're putting a face with the story.
The hardest part about it was the things that I assumed that I knew, that I didn't really know, because again, what I remember or how I saw things through my lens may not have been the same as my friends saw it. So for me, that was a hard, like, that happened? I don't remember that. Well, what else happened? So getting the missing pieces that I didn't always realize was missing was the part that really was the hard part, in addition to how am I going to put my life back together, because it was a stroke. So it affected my cognitive memory. It affected how I could do anything. So I was just learning to drive again. I was learning to do a lot of things. I went to interviews with completely no idea how to do an interview. So things that you take for granted were gone. And here I am, knowing I have no business trying to work, but I have a baby to provide for and raise. And so the hard part was, as women, we feel like we have to do everything on our own a lot of times, and be super mom, and now we got to do this and we got to do that because we have children, and just being still and healing. I'm not good at just sitting still. I'm not good at other people taking care of me.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So, what do you hope someone currently facing fear or an unsafe situation take from your story?
Always listen to your gut. That first gut never, ever steers you wrong. Never. When we get into where we get into trouble is when we start second and third guessing ourselves. And when you have the faith of a mustard seed, which is the smallest seed, I promise God can do a whole lot with that. Okay, so let me just be clear here. It wasn't always faith of a mustard seed. It was the dust from the mustard seed. You get the dust at the bottom of the seasoning. That's what it was sometimes. It was just the dust. And even with the dust, because God knows how he made me. He knows how he made me. And I was a worrier. Okay, I still kind of am, but not as much, because I pray a whole lot more now. But what I'm going to say is put that faith in God and pray. Just pray, because I had nothing to lose by praying. I had nothing to lose by putting my faith in God, because I was living in my minivan at the time. My son was with my brother. So I had nothing to lose by having faith that everything was going to work out one way or another. So have that faith. If you don't have a support network, build one. And if this person isn't working out, replace them with somebody else. Your church, prayer circles, prayer warriors, whoever you have to go to. But you listen to that first mind. You listen to that gut and you pray. When you have nothing else to lose, just pray.
Yes, absolutely. Prayer is powerful. And yeah, I definitely can relate. Prayer, because you can't pray and worry. So you gotta pick one.
Yes. Yes.
And prayer should outweigh it in the end, right?
It's supposed to.
Yes, yes, that should be first and foremost. God knows you need to pray. Yeah, just tell him about it, right?
Yes, yes.
And so, how has your definition of strength changed since experiencing everything you went through?
Baby, let me tell you something. Let me tell you, I had no idea how strong I was. This taught me so much, because I'm like, okay, I'm just working. I'm working. I'm a single parent, and I had a good job that I hated my job. I cried the whole way there. I cried the entire 8 hours I was there, and I cried during lunch. I mean, I was just crying. You'd have thought I ran out of tears. I've cried so much, but it taught me I am so much stronger than I ever thought was possible. And I already knew I was stubborn and hard-headed, so that kind of worked to my advantage. But most people don't survive an attempted murder, much less two attempted murders in that time frame. So that let me know, number one, all the strength didn't come from me. So let's just be clear there. That was God giving me strength that I didn't know I had to survive two attempted murders and still having this child to raise and losing everything and then getting into an abusive relationship and then all the other things that happen. So to know, that's what let me know God has a purpose for me. God has a purpose for me because I survived the things that would have taken the average person out. And the strength that I really got from it was an attitude of gratitude. And, here's the thing. I'm thankful for even the most minute little tiny things. Somebody giving me a free meal or, somebody gives me something like the job that I work for, a beverage company. And if we get swag, so if I get a free t-shirt, I'm grateful for that t-shirt. And, sometimes we get a free meal. I'm grateful for that free meal because that's something I didn't have to pay for. So it's in even just the smaller things where somebody opens the door for me or somebody smiles and says, "Hi, how are you?" And it's just the little things that we all tend to take for granted. And for me, it let me know you have a much bigger purpose than you ever thought possible.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And so you had shared, so this is your second book?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so your first book, is that also an autobiography or is that of a different genre?
No, it's also an autobiography. It's His Eyes on the Sparrow, and it's about
Beautiful.
my life as a mentally ill woman. And when I created the title, never once did I think about the song and everything else. It's just a spin on my last name. So, and it's something to me that I feel as Black people, we don't talk enough about mental health and that we really do suffer from it. Because, a lot of people say it's a spirit, a lot of churches, that's a demon, pray it off of you. Well, if it was that easy to pray it off of you, then it would have been gone. As much as we like to pray, I love praying. I'm a prayer warrior, but sometimes you need to follow that up with medication and therapy. And, there's no shame
Absolutely.
in it.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of stigma around being mentally ill in the Black community. And,
Yes.
that's part of why I love being a motivational speaker. So we can have these open conversations and dialogue about mental illness. I'm not a mental health professional. Like I said, I work for a beverage company. So let me just say that. But it's something that we need to stop stigmatizing.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I can definitely agree with that because I'm in therapy. I've been in therapy for about a year now. But however, the stigma in the Black community, in the Black churches, and again, like you said, there's more that we need to learn. And it's our mental health. We got to take care of our spiritual,
Yes.
our physical.
Yes.
Why not our mental? It's just
Exactly.
it's just as important. And
Yes.
I don't believe God would put those type of services in our grasp for us just to say, just pray over it. You can't just pray it out of you. There really is something I think that we need to be aware of and need to do for ourselves. Yeah, thank you.
Exactly. And the thing about that is that if somebody says they're diabetic or they have a heart condition, we have no problem taking them to the doctor or the emergency room. But if you say you're suicidal, oh, we don't commit suicide, and they brush you off instead of taking it as a serious medical condition.
Yes, it is definitely a serious condition that should definitely be taken seriously.
Yes.
Absolutely. So, if readers could remember one lesson from your story after reading it, what would it be?
Never give up. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter what anybody tells you. As long as you have that relationship with God and you pray, that's what matters. And when I was young, I grew up apostolic and, they use the King James Version. So I thought I had to pray with the thous and the those, and it got so confusing. It got so confusing. But for me, praying is just like we're having a conversation right now. So for me, it's just praying. Like I said, it's a conversation with God. So
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. And so, let me have you finish this sentence. My story deserves to be told because.
people need hope. In this day and age, you need hope no matter what happens, no matter what's going on, because there's so much going on at the same time. So I say, if you don't know anything else to do, pray. Because, I have friends, and sometimes I don't have all the answers, and I'll give my opinion or whatever advice. But then when I don't know what else to say, I say pray.
Absolutely. Yes. And so where can listeners follow you? Tell us your website, your social media.
I am on Facebook under Lisa Weiss Sparrow, author Lisa Weiss Sparrow, both on Facebook, on IG. I'm author Lisa Weiss Sparrow, X or Twitter, whatever it's called. I am author Lisa Weiss Sparrow. I'm author Lisa Weiss Sparrow across the board. And if you Google me, that's the same way you'll find me. You have to put the Y in there because if you just put Lisa Sparrow in, it's a pretty white woman, but I'm a pretty black woman. So you have to put that Y in
I know
there.
that's right. I know that's right. That's right. Make the distinction. Absolutely. So what else are you currently working on?
I'm currently in school right now. So a lot of my time is going towards that. Me and my fiance are part of a production company that is making a movie here in Columbus, Ohio this summer. So we're in production right now. However, I am working on part 2 of His Eye is on a Sparrow by popular demand. And then my first children's book, it should have been out, but again, school has been taking a lot of my time. So I have a children's book that's coming out that I'm super duper excited about. And I'm working on a romance and a murder mystery at the same time. So I got a lot of projects going.
Yes, I know. And your job
Yes,
and your family.
yes.
You
And I'm a
know,
grandma. So
and your grandma.
oh, I love being a grandma. Oh, I love it. So yeah, you know what they say, life comes at you fast. Life
Yes,
comes at you fast and I stay busy. So I'm just excited. I'm excited. I mean, why not? God has given me this opportunity to do it again and I'm making the best of it.
yes, yes. That's awesome. That's exciting. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. You're doing it. And like you said, you know, God has given you the opportunity and you're moving forward with faith, with prayer. You
Yes.
know, yes, yes. So that's awesome. And I'm proud of
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for coming on the podcast
Thank you
this
for having
evening.
me.
Yeah, I appreciate you. I'm glad we finally get to converse. I can't wait now that you've told me all this going on. I'll definitely make sure I follow you and see what Lisa has cooking. See the good things that are going on. And so to the listeners out there, if you are listening, please like, share, follow, and comment on this podcast. And again, I thank Lisa for coming on this evening. And Lisa, thank you so much, and you have a great night.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.